Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us. Do us a huge favor. I hope y'all are doing well. Smash that subscribe button. Give us a like. Share. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Reddit and Discord. And don't forget, leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
And big thank you to our sponsor, Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, field, or in the stands with a custom airbrushed helmet, goalie mask, or any type of project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204 891 7431.
And don't forget to tell them that Ray and Benny sent you. And I meant to bring the helmet that they just did for my son, who is a goalie, but I forgot to bring it upstairs. But if you check out our Facebook page, you will see the latest creation on this helmet, and it's fantastic.
That would have been the best intro if we swiped out of the Ray Benny title and you were just wearing that mask.
Yeah, I'm totally meant to have it here, and I totally forgot.
Next week.
Yeah.
Next week, folks. That's a Ray and Benny guarantee. Let's get right into some CFL Blue Bomber off-season talk. Let's get into a segment. Choose the word. It would be blank if the Bombers don't re-sign Brady Oliveira.
For lack of a better word that I can come up with, I went with terrible. First off, I mean, he's a dominant player. He can do it on the ground. He can do it in the air. He's like a bowling ball once he gets rolling. He's from Winnipeg, which is huge. You want to build that younger fan base. A lot of kids out there already got these Oliveira jerseys on, right? Now, if you're letting this guy go, Winnipegger, it was a missed opportunity with Harris at first, and then they got him in here, and look what that did for the franchise, and look what it did with the fan base. And now if you do the same thing where now you got Oliveira right off the bat, you got to find a way to keep him. And I do agree the salary was probably a little bit too high, but I feel like they got to keep him, and that'll help grow this young fan base as well.
I think it would be epic if the Bombers don't re-sign Brady Oliveira. For all of those reasons that you mentioned, like he's been the heartbeat of the Bombers offense since said Andrew Harris left. He continues to be a force despite the O-line aging a bit, sometimes being patchwork due to injuries, sometimes due to an offensive game plan that for some odd reason decided to keep the ball out of his hands. I don't blame him for wanting to test free agency. And if he did test it and did go, it would mean a huge shift in what the Bombers do. It would be a huge shift in resources in regards to the salary cap, but that would mean it'd be a huge shift in playmaking responsibility with the money being spent elsewhere. So that's why it would be epic if the Bombers don't re-sign Brady Oliveira.
Plus what the guy does also in the community, right?
For sure.
Rescuing dogs is one thing, but he's also out in the community doing stuff. Like he's right now, he should be and could be the face of this franchise. And
should be. He is.
Wow, is he? Like, I mean,
yeah.
they didn't play him like he was.
Well, that doesn't mean he's not the face of the franchise. He clearly is.
But that's where the Bombers kind of failed. That's where the Bombers kind of failed, though.
That's where Jason Hogan kind of failed.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you can blame Hogan all that. I blame that whole organization for this past year, and throwing Hogan into that situation. But yes, he should have used him better. But the Bombers should have done better in that regards too.
Of the presumed free agents on other teams, blank should be the number one priority for the Bombers. And why? I'm going to kind of go off the radar, but kind of on the radar because you're CFL All-Star and Quinton Barrow from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's a young right tackle, CFL All-Star, young at 25, maybe a replacement for Stanley Bryant. And if not, we've seen the years of needing Jamarcus Hardrick at right tackle and the importance of him and also his leadership and his energy. But the Bombers need help now, but they also start to need building for the future. And yes, they need a Canadian offensive lineman. They're hella important. But when you got a talented guy like that available at that age, I think you go for him. So I'll go Quinton Barrow from Hamilton.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you in terms of O-line. I couldn't pick a guy per se. I'm like looking, going, hey, might as well just bring Hardrick back. But then I'm thinking, he's getting up there in age as well. Probably after winning the best offensive lineman award, his salary is probably not going to go down all that much. So I'm going to go with your guy. Just agree with you because I want them to build either this O line or this D line. And then if you're going to bring back, or not if, you're bringing back Zack Collaros, you got to bring a better O line to the table. So
Oh,
Zack is not taking hits.
for sure, for sure. Also, keep an eye on Coulter with Mancy. He'd plug a nice hole for Liam Dobson that the Bombers should have kept.
You know what this something the site or something some site or whatever needs to do it that you can look up these guys easier and know what position they played. I'm looking up all these O-line free agents that Three Down Nation has listed, but it doesn't necessarily where they're playing. So you're trying to look up these guys and see where they played and all that stuff. It takes a bit of time. Unfortunately, I ran out of it, so that's why I didn't come up with a name. But I wish there was an easier way to figure out who is playing where. And I know you can look on the CFL.ca, but it's not always the easiest site to find information.
No, and on their player cards it says O line or D
Yeah,
line, not
exactly. It's
end or
like
guard or
where
anything. It's
it's not
crazy.
not everyone's interchangeable here.
Just genius. We'll see. New website coming out, new app.
Oh,
So we'll see. Let's hope Genius is not involved one bit in those. I haven't
do
heard
we know?
anything about that yet.
Okay, so we don't know if they're still involved then, right?
I fear that. I fear that. Blank is the CFL coach I'd build my organization around.
I'm going to go with Corey Mace. Obviously they just won the Grey Cup, so that's high on the list, obviously. And I know O'Shea's done great here in Winnipeg, but right now he turned that. I don't know if it turned it around or took it to the next level. That Saskatchewan squad because with Dickinson, sorry, they were doing well, making the playoffs, but just not getting that next level. Corey Mace came in and in 2 years managed to help them figure out how to become a championship team. And obviously they played from week one to the end here. They were the best team in the league. So I like that, and he brought that team together and got them over the hump.
I think it's a bigger jump in success from Dickinson. Dickinson did make the West Final early on, but the past couple years they went on like 7-game losing streaks to
That's
finish
true.
the season and miss the playoffs. So I agree. Corey Mace really turned that organization around, and he is a good choice and probably the popular choice right now as the reigning Grey Cup champions, and looks to be on the brink of something great and hopefully for Saskatchewan, extended. But I'm still going to take Mike O'Shea if I'm going to build an organization around. He has a proven culture that goes long term. Both of them appreciate Canadian talent. But 9 consecutive playoff berths, 5 straight Grey Cups, all-time greatness in CFL with a lot of gas in the tank, I think. And this guy's the winningest organization coming behind names like Dave Ritchie, Cal Murphy, and Bud Grant. So I'm going to go with Mike O'Shea. And I know I'm biased, but I'll put some receipts behind it too.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, we both can't lose at this point. Blank is the most dominant defensive player in the CFL. I'm going to go with Tyrese Beverett. That guy's a tackling machine. He was involved in more than 100 or just at 100 defensive plays this season. You can count on him getting multiple sacks. You can count on him getting multiple interceptions. You can count on him getting multiple forced fumbles. He's just a beast on the field. So I'm going to go with Tyrese Beverett.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. I'm going to go with Matthew Betts, partly because he just did win Defensive Player of the Year, 15 sacks. He was dominant late in the season, bit of a slower start to the season, but became on strong late in the season. Unfortunately, couldn't get it done in the West Final. But when that guy's motor is rolling, he's hard to stop, and he's a sack machine. So I'm going to stick with him.
Blank is the most dominant offensive player in the CFL.
I went with another BC guy. I went with Nathan Rourke.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's shown what he can do on the field. Still very young, still learning the game. And what was this? Really only his second full season,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, he's got an arm. He can run when he needs to, and we've seen him, with some long touchdown runs this season as well. So I just feel like he's gonna, if he sticks around, which he probably will, he'll just keep getting better and better in the CFL.
Yeah, passport be damned. I'm taking him over any player in the CFL to build my team around on the offensive side of the ball. He is probably the most dangerous offensive quarterback we've seen since Henry Burris in regards to being a playmaker.
Yeah.
You have guys like Zack Collaros, Ricky Ray, Dave Dickinson, Bo Levi Mitchell, almost there, who had early in his career the running ability, but not like Nathan Rourke, I don't think. So I
No.
don't think since Henry Burris have we had a guy who's a playmaker like that. Are the Roughrider fans who criticize player behavior during the parade slash Grey Cup celebration too uptight? Huh. Uh they are who they thought we were, or they were. Sorry, I messed up that quote. They are who we thought they were. We're talking about Saskatchewan here, a pretty blue province, a pretty conservative province. And this is not getting into politics. This is just getting in regards to the culture of the province. Yes, you got to party, but you also got to know your audience, especially when you're the head coach of the team. It wasn't just the players. It was Corey Mace going mofo and everything. So when you have a dude, the leader like that, opening up the can, it's going to be crazy. So yes, I guess Saskatchewan is a little uptight, a little more uptight than Manitoba. Like we didn't hear Mike O'Shea going crazy like that.
I was trying to remember.
Like a couple
Did
guys.
yes.
Strevler, maybe.
Yeah, well, didn't Nichols also Matt Nichols the first year swear at the Forks there that time or said something, but
Yeah,
I was trying to remember if O'Shea had done anything or said anything, but
not like that. O'Shea? No.
yeah, just let it slip. I know it was funny. I think he was more. Well, I can't say this. He seemed drunk at the second one, where the one who was in the Bomber Stadium,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
When O'Shea compared to the first one, but I think for the most part, again, there were a little uptight, but also like you say, Corey Mace should know you're the coach. Unfortunately, you want to drop f bombs behind the curtain and all that stuff. Go for it. But when you're talking to a crowd, there is young kids there, right?
Well,
But at the same time, these fans should be expecting, hey, these guys are going to have a couple beers. They're going to have probably cigars. We saw with Stravler, and it's been iconic since in his fur coat and no shirt on kind of thing, right?
yeah.
But to me, these championship parades and all that, they seem like they've gotten crazier, like more drunkenness involved. And it
Oh,
feels
for
like ever since
sure.
Ovi went on that tear when Washington won the cup, that it's just been all out. Like, you had different things, Tom Brady throwing the Lombardi trophy across the lake kind of stuff. So it's just getting more wild. So you almost got to expect that, right?
Public inebriation.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
allowed.
Yeah, it's going to happen in these parades and all that kind of stuff. So you got to take some of it with a grain of salt. I get it. The mother effer word when you have kids around, probably not the greatest.
And not just about Saskatchewan culture. You're also in one of only two now community owned teams. You are closer to the community than you are in cities like Vancouver or Montreal or Toronto. Like you are in the community, and Saskatchewan at another level because fans actually own voting shares of this team. So that's different level involved with the community. So you guys, yes, have fun. Yes, have fun, but save a lot of that for behind the doors. Save
Yeah,
save that for the locker room.
exactly. Yeah.
What's your reaction to Kyle Walters saying, Rough Rider fans, what's your opinion? Put your opinion in the comment section below. What's your reaction to Kyle Walters saying they won't renegotiate with Zack Collaros? Uh, okay, I get it, but why are you sharing that in public? That means now you have zero leverage. At least I'd have a conversation with the guy and I wouldn't say, hey, you want to take less money? But I'd intimate how, it'd be great to be able to bring in a good O lineman, maybe another prime time receiver. If we just maybe had a little more wiggle room in the cap, put the worm on the hook and see what happens. But now you can't even do that. So I thought it was kind of weird, mistake to be saying that out in public right there.
And now, if you do it somehow, the questions will be like, well, why the heck did you go back and do it? What happened, or what was the cause of it, right? Um, for me, if he's making 600, that's too much right now. And like you say, you can knock that down to say four, and then you got 200 to bring in a good old lineman, some young old lineman or someone who's close on the up and up that will help him out. Because obviously, Zach is better, obviously, and all quarterbacks are better when they have an old line, right? But Zach's getting to that age where his mobility is less and less. So his running ability and his ability to get away from tackles and sacks, he needs the help. So you also got to factor in now what you're going to end up paying Oliveira, which last year or last time was over 200. So, if you crawl that salary back a bit, you have a little bit more you can possibly give to Brady. Not saying over 200 or anything like that, right? But if you're not going to negotiate with Zach, how do you tell Brady, hey, I know we paid you two something last year, but I'm only going to pay you 180 this year, right? So now you're like,
Mm.
I won't renegotiate with my quarterback, but you, the star running back, I will definitely renegotiate with you. So yeah, you know what? I never even thought about what you had said about why did you even bring that up or why did you answer that question if it was asked. Usually that stuff is just behind closed doors. Keep it behind closed doors and say we'll talk about it in house and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Difference with Oliveira and Collaros is Oliveira is a free agent.
Yes, I get it, but now you're still going to ask him probably to take less than you gave him last year, right? Maybe. I mean, who knows what the Bombers are doing, but we'll see. And Zach, I mean, Collaros has been trending downwards for the last couple of seasons. We can talk about Hogan's play calling this year, but even with Buck last year, Collaros wasn't as good as he was, right? He had glimpses, and again this year he had glimpses. So what are we going to get over 18 games next season if we get 18 games?
Yeah, I guess Kyle Walters kind of intimated that they need to fix that depleting O line.
Yeah. And the backup QB, which they went out and signed someone today or bringing someone in from the UFL. I can't remember his name now.
We'll see what that QB plan is. Speaking of offense, kind of QB, between Tommy Condell and Mike Miller, the guys who have been mentioned in regards to Bombers, either interviewing, getting an interview, getting permission to interview, who would you prefer?
Just thinking about it. Condell, obviously, he's been around. He worked with Zach back in 2014, 2015. I haven't been enamored with his offenses for the last few seasons. I believe what he was in Ottawa and Hamilton, kind of thing. So I'm leaning probably towards Mike Miller. He did interview with the Bombers last year, has made MBT and Nick Arbuckle looking like good QBs. Obviously, Chad Kelly won most outstanding player with him. 30 years of coaching experience as well, which is a heck of a lot more than what they brought in with Hogan. So I would probably lean towards Mike Miller because I just feel like there's more upside there.
Yeah, I really found this hard to choose. And I think I'm biased because of what the heck happened recently in Winnipeg. And I really think they need a seasoned play caller. So I'm going to go Tommy Condell. Um, Yeah, I'm a little gun shy now, and I know that Mike Miller has had an opportunity to call offenses, especially in the NFL level with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I feel that the Bombers really will have a different O line, and Tommy Condell has not been as successful in the past couple teams. Like he was really good in '91 and in 2021, and he's done fairly well in those situations, despite having not the best QBs and also injured QBs. And then he went to Ottawa and he had no O line, and he didn't really have a QB who was healthy all the time. So I think I go with Tommy Condell because I think the Bombers will be looking really new on offense. I think there are 4 or 5 pieces away from being competitive. So I think you'll need a more experienced guy calling the shots, calling the plays, and getting these guys ready to go in a short training camp period.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how quick of a move they make with this. Obviously you got time before free agency, but you don't want to do what you did last year and be into February and still deciding if you're keeping Hogan or getting one of these guys.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't think they're waiting till February. They're
no,
already
I know,
moving guys
but
now. That's not going to go that far.
and I guess it ends up depends on what ends up happening with the Argos head coaching search too, right?
Yeah.
Because I know Mike Miller ended up interviewing for that job as well. So Who knows if he gets it? I know Rick Campbell, I think, also interviewed. I think Toronto screwed up by letting Dinwiddie possibly go. Then you had the situation where half your games next season are going to be played out of the province because of the World Cup. I think they're in a tough situation to find the right guy there.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really let him go. He didn't give them a chance to counteroffer.
It depends though. Something had to have happened. I mean, the guy won two Grey Cups in the last 4 years or whatever it is now, right? So something
Yeah.
must have happened for that relationship to go south.
He's like, this ownership crew sucks. I'm out.
That too.
Toronto. We'll see. We'll see, and we'll see what the Bombers do. Bomber fans, what do you think? Would you like to see at OC? Please smash that subscribe button. Let's move on to some Winnipeg Jets talk. Brad Lambert asks for a trade, kind of, maybe, for sure. I don't know. The Jets at least give permission to his management team to seek out a trade partner. Do the Jets have issues with their young players' draft picks? I think in this specific situation, I think maybe because of injuries and because of where we are in the season, I think they have a commitment to play certain types of players on certain lines, which leaves their smaller forwards maybe in frustration because they don't have a spot in the bottom six. And I don't think in this specific situation with Brad Lambert, he's earned a spot in the top six. So, you know, yeah, I think that's a situation. I don't think they have a general big issue with their draft players or how they develop their players. I think it's very situational. It's usually their smaller forwards that want to take off.
Yeah, it depends here because you know what, I went and looked back at some drafts, right? And yes, Lambert hasn't played great. He's played 4 games this year, scored a goal. Moose wise, point totals have gone down over the last few seasons as well. But when you had these guys out, like Perfetti, Lowry, all that kind of stuff were out, I would give him more of an opportunity to at least play more than 2 games in a row. Even with Chibikov, it was like you play 2 games. Oh, no, okay, no, you play 2 games. Give these guys a chance to play 4 or 5 games at least, and then they get rolling a bit. And again, he doesn't deserve a spot because he hasn't shown that he had, that he has it. But you've already had this, and it's debatable on these guys. Sammy Nuki, Heinola, you had Rudder McGroarty last year try to get out, or try to get out, did get out because he said he was done. I don't think he's doing much in Pittsburgh anyways right now. But to me, it's the question is, okay, what are these guys expecting? Are the expectations laid out that, hey, this is what you got to do to get to the next level? And how are you going to do it? Perfetti seemed to have an easier path, and he's stuck in the NHL. I know he even scored 19 goals, and Bonus still benched him late in that season and into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Logan Stanley seems to be getting opportunity after opportunity, no matter what he does. So it's always a weird situation, right? But if you
Absolutely.
look back at these past drafts, none of these guys are sticking, right? You go back to 2017 where they drafted Dylan Sandberg, and he's the only guy that's kind of stuck besides Perfetti
They
and
have not
Stanley
drafted
somehow.
well.
No, they're drafting, and that's part of the issue that I have is their drafting is almost as bad as these guys wanting out all the time, right? None
I
of these
think it
guys stick.
is as bad. I think it
It-
is bad.
yeah,
Like none of these guys stick, but then when they go, what are they doing?
yeah,
Even
none of them
Liney,
have.
even
Yeah,
Liney, what is Liney doing?
yeah. I mean, he hasn't done much. He's scored goals here and there, but he's been hurt most of the time. You had that year Sandberg was drafted. You had Vesalainen, Christian Vesalainen. He's gone. Right, your first rounders for last couple seasons, or sorry, last 5, 6 seasons. Even David Gustafson, he was a second rounder. What's he doing?
Yeah.
You know, if you draft a guy in the second round, he should be playing on your team, right? And then
Roslovich is having fun with Connor McDavid.
yeah, well, and then you got Billy Hainela, who's drafted in the first round, who's still can't get an opportunity after 6 years. Then you have Cole Perfetti, that worked. Chaz Lucius, unfortunately that didn't work out because of the injuries. And
Not drafting well.
hey,
They're not drafting
no,
well.
no, and that's more of my issue is what is happening to these drafts since basically last one was yes, Liney was a great pick at the time, and that just went off the rails. But since the Connor draft, which included Roslovic, what have they done? And the two guys that are still playing in the NHL and Chisholm and Kovacevic, they let go. So something needs to be looked at there. And if it's the scouting staff or if it's the drafting staff or whatever it is, The Jets are not hitting on their picks lately.
Those are these small forwards.
Yeah, exactly. In small forwards and small D, right? So we'll see. Solomanson gets a start tomorrow because of injury to Pionk. So hopefully
Yeah,
he
that'll be
does well.
interesting. That'll be interesting. Hellebuyck out 4 to 6 weeks. How does that affect the Winnipeg Jets? What will their record be from now until Christmas?
Well,
Hmm.
what do we got? About 14 games. I mean, they've already lost their first two without him. We got 14 more to go.
Yep.
I'm hoping they can go 7-7 in that. And I wouldn't blame, or I'm not like, yes, goaltending, obviously, Hellebuyck has carried this team at times over the last, well, how many years, right? Uh, Comrie's going to do as good as he can, but now he's done good as a backup, but now you're thrust into the starting lineup. And the only other backup is Thomas. Well, no, the backup they brought up was Thomas Milik, who has not played an NHL game before.
Yeah.
So it's pretty bare there. Are you going to run Conway this whole time, or are you going to give Milik games here and there, right? But I think this team's issues right now are beyond goaltending, even because they can't score. They're top heavy again. Second line is non-existent. Logan Stanley is number 7 in points on this team right now. You know, and there's 3 defensemen in that top 7. So where are the rest of the forwards here right now that are not contributing? So I think it's going to be a tough spell for the Jets with Hellebuyck out.
Tough. I don't see them going 7-7 at all.
I
I
said it
see them
hopefully.
going 4-10. The
Yeah.
question was, what will their record be? Not what do you hope it will be. Yeah, I
Sorry,
hope it'll
I
be
went the other
7-7 too. But I think they'll be 4-10. I'm sorry, they're playing shaky defense, which is the core of what their scheme is, which in turn probably leads to less offensive opportunities, which we're seeing now. They're definitely not helping Eric Comrie out these past couple of games. Their power play is streaky at best. Lack of depth of scoring, like you said before. Penalty kill is going to be less efficient now without Connor Hellebuyck. They are in trouble. They're in trouble if they keep playing the way that they are. Like they have to magically bring it all together without their best player.
So if you go back to Lambert here, right? So you got guys that are underperforming, right? Gustav Nyquist, 6 assists in all his games. You know, you got Pearson, Kopecky, they are what they are. You got Jonathan Toews right now, who's got 8 points, but he was a minus 11. And I know a lot of people don't like plus minus. Perfetti and Lowry slow starts to getting back into things again. So it's like there was an opportunity to maybe give Lambert or Chibikov or Parker Ford even more time to play in this lineup, and they just did not give it to them, even though these other guys weren't performing either. To me, if these older guys that you're signing aren't playing well, why not see what these younger guys can do for a spell? Right? So I don't know. I don't know if the system is just too hard for these younger guys, the bonus system and now the Arneal system, and it's like if you just don't do things perfectly, you're going to get benched and that's it. I don't know because I don't understand the whole system of it all, but it's tough for a young guy to crack this Jets lineup, and it has been for a long
Yeah.
time.
For this season specifically, the Jets have had their full healthy lineup for what, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, probably with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to give up on the team that they've brought in for the season to take a gamble on players who aren't even dominating in the AHL at this point right now. I'm giving them
But
more than 2 weeks to gel and find something.
but at the time they didn't have that lineup, so why not insert some of these guys into that lineup
At what
for
time?
longer than they did? You give Appleton tons of chances, and that guy, did what
Yeah,
he did with him, which was not enough, but still got chances.
yeah.
I just don't understand who they pick to give these chances to. Logan Stanley, for one.
Well, I think it's also hard to compare offensive defensive players because the defense are woefully pathetic depth on defense more than I think they are on forward. And that's saying even worse because I don't think they're very deep on forward, but I think they are woefully lacking depth on defense. I think that's one of the only, if not the only reason why Stanley keeps getting opportunities.
Okay, but if Sol Manson comes in and plays well tomorrow, do you give more of an opportunity? Pionk may not be out that long because I think he is on this road trip. So
Yeah.
if Sol Manson comes in and plays a good game, but Pionk's good to go the next one, what do you do with Sol Manson? You just take him back out, or do you give him another opportunity to play instead of Logan Stanley or Luke Shen or whoever is in that bottom pair?
How did Logan Stanley play that game?
Stanley's been hit and miss. Yes, he's got points, but he hasn't played well all the time, right?
Yeah.
So he's still what he is, right? He's not going to be consistently good all the time or consistently average, whatever, right? He's still going to have his bad moments, and he's been in the NHL now for quite a few seasons. So,
Yeah.
but I guess Solomonson's going to need to probably play with, he's going to probably play with Sandberg, which will help him obviously, as it helps Pionk even. So it'll be a difference if you play with Sandberg one game and all of a sudden you're playing with Luke Shen or Stanley the next game. So
With a quarter of the season done, what grade are you giving forwards, defensemen, goalies, and the team? Let's start with forwards. C plus. Shaky other than the first line, middle of the pack scoring in the league.
yeah, I'll give him a C. I think top line's probably at a B, B plus. Everything else is probably at a C minus, D kind of thing. So go in the middle there.
What do you got for defense?
I'm going to give it a C as well. 2.8 goals against, so which is also middle of the pack. Again, top half of it's been good. Bottom half not so good.
This is not a fun team to watch right now.
No.
Defense, I'm going to give them a C. Like, honestly, on the ice, they are boring to watch.
Yes. Yeah.
It looks like they're figuring stuff out. No offensive support from the defense. And we'll see what Solomon adds next game. Maybe, possibly.
Well, no, like I said, DeMello, Morrissey, and Stanley are in the top 7 on this team in points.
I think that's more of an indictment of how bad the forwards are playing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I use the right word there. Indictment.
Yes.
Goaltending. I'm going to give it B. Actually, B plus. Hellebuyck is Hellebuyck. Comrie's been pretty solid. I should probably give it an A, but I'll go B plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B. Hellebuyck obviously not as good so far as last year. 913 save percentage is still really good. Obviously not as high as well last year. Comrie's 899, and that's probably the last couple of games have probably done him in a bit. So we'll see what he can do as a starter, but they've been solid, and Comrie has been solid as the backup guy so far. So
yeah,
we'll see where it goes now without Hellebuyck.
Comrie's definitely going to hit 20 games, I think, this year.
Oh yeah, well, we wanted him to, right?
No,
we wanted him at least 25, I think, right? So,
jeez, well, 20 is close. 20 is close, especially when Hellebuyck is your goaltender.
so my question for you now: the Olympics, Hellebuyck coming back, say end of December, early January. We don't know for sure, right? 4 to 6 weeks, I think it was. Does he still go, or should he still go?
I don't think he should. As a Winnipeg Jet fan, I don't think he should, obviously, but maybe once in a lifetime, I guess, from his perspective. And I don't know whose call that is. Because I don't like once the NHL is like, yeah, they can play. Like, can a team be like, no, you shouldn't play?
Probably not.
I guess you can have that conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Each team can have a conversation with the player, but at the end of the day, you also don't want to piss that player off, right? So,
no, especially your best player.
So yeah, it'll come down to Hellebuyck deciding if he's if he's healthy, he's probably going. But at the same time, you missed quite a bit of season, right? So you need to be healthy in the stretch run after that.
Well, he's missing at least 16 right now.
Well, I mean, hey, if the Jets can stay afloat over this next month and a half without him, it gets him that rest, right? That we're hoping for. But again, the Olympics kind of messes things up because now you're traveling out to Italy, for 2 weeks and all that stuff, and then you get back into action right after that.
Where are they right now in the standings?
I just had it up here, and I think I just closed it.
They're out of a wild card, right?
They're middle. They were 5th in the Central Division,
so they're out of a wild card.
Yeah.
Oof! If they go 7-7, they will be deep out of a wild card, I think.
Or they're close. I mean, they're close, obviously, to that wild card, right?
Oh my goodness!
Let's just take a quick look here.
It's all good. It's not the end of the world. There's lots of time, but it won't be good to go 7-7. And I think they'll go 4-10. So that's even worse.
Yeah, they're 3 points out of a wild card spot right now. So,
oh goodness. All
right.
I
mean, only 4 points out of third place too from the Central. So obviously,
Jets
still
Nation, don't panic. Jets Nation, don't panic.
Not yet. Let's see the next couple games go.
Benny, you have anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, and go Jets go.
And in the words of LeVar Burton, we'll see you next time.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Denny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.